What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com. The Hype. It is episode 381, and we're going to talk about Cheetos today. All things food. There's a massive Cheeto that's up there on the interwebs for people to purchase.
Not just a Cheeto.
So you got to stay tuned to figure out
It's a
why in the world.
It's a flaming hot Cheeto.
Flaming hot Chester Cheeto. We're also going to talk about Whatnot not allowing video replays anymore. This is off of the heels of all the drama that's been surrounding them. Now they're like, you can't watch any playback. So we'll talk about that. We've got some big sales happening as well. We're also going to talk about Wembanyama and his market now that he has the blood clot and what this does to the hobby. Guys, what's going down? How was your guys' weekend?
Okay, my weekend. One, watched a little NASCAR on Sunday because that's what Sundays are for now. It was good race. Good race. Going to the road course next week. Don't worry about it. Going to Austin. I'm not. You're not. And Cody's not.
I'm not. No.
But yeah, they'll be out there. And another thing I went to was Little Gym. What do you know about it?
Little Gym?
Little Gym.
I'm assuming this is like a kids' play area sort of thing, right? That's what that sounds like.
it's a gym
Or it's
that
an
just
actual
has
gym?
it's everything's tiny though. Like,
Oh, yeah.
No.
It's a gym for ants.
It's a gym for
quote
ants. So it's a
Zoolander.
Zoolander. No, it's exactly what you think it is. It's Little Gym, and it's basically like they got like padded teeter-totters and things to hang on and stuff like that. And it was kind of my nightmare. Didn't know what to expect. My wife 100% did.
Did you work out while you're there? Or?
No. But so basically, it was like maybe 20 kids total. And it just so happens, in order to get into this little area, it's socks only. My wife had sandals, so she could not participate.
Wait, they don't provide. Usually, places like that are
you
like,
can buy
oh,
the socks.
you can.
That's disgusting.
Pay for a pair of
It's
socks.
disgusting. I'm not going to take
not
community.
used
I'm not going to
socks.
take
No, they're
community.
new.
Wait a
in a bag.
minute.
Yeah,
Not gonna
yeah.
take-
They're not community.
I'm not
this
taking
is not a bowling alley.
I'm not taking community socks. That's ridiculous.
No, they're new
Now-
socks. I've had to buy some before.
Now,
Yeah, like a trampoline place. They give you those socks.
Yeah, I'm a sock man. I had socks on, so I got put into the fire. I was in there.
They're matching socks?
Well, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my nightmare was sitting there trying to wrestle a 19-month-old, and he's getting ready to run around, and the first thing we do is they're like, circle time. So I'm there with like 20 other adults and 20 kids, and we're going to go around in a circle, and we're going to talk. And we're going to talk about our favorite food and what our name is and all this stuff. And I'm like looking at my wife, and she's just like looking at me through. And I'm like, I told her, I don't want this to get weird. I don't want to do circle time. I just want to let him run around and play. No, I hunkered down some circle time.
All right.
Felt like I had to present.
So what did you say your favorite food was?
Him.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Well, he didn't because he can't talk.
Right, he's
so
not
like
there
I
yet.
had to speak for him.
Right.
Which, yeah. So I was
You
like,
know what would have been great if you just like put him on your arm like he was a ventriloquist?
I said like they're all favorite.
I like SpaghettiOs.
favorite food, Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean his?
Yeah.
I thought you were asking me. By the way, you got anything to get through this event?
Yeah. So there's just and then free play happened, and it just became chaos. And I'm pretty sure he got a cold, and I think everybody who was in that place is going to get a cold because there was 20 kids that just had snot just
Sounds
coming
right.
out of their face.
Yeah, but that's how you build your immune system up, right? I mean, a little bit of pain for a long-term,
Yeah.
growth of not getting sick like that again.
So yeah, it was Little Gym. Little Gym.
Yeah. Jeez.
Highly recommend it.
Sounds
Do
like I
you
gotta go.
after all that?
I think I'm locked in. I'm a member now, so I get front of the line treatment. I think
Front
now.
of the line
VIP.
treatment. You get first dibs and circle time.
First dibs on circle time.
yeah,
First
get it
dibs
out
at
of the way.
community socks.
Right. Community socks.
Gotta have
But
community socks.
the funny thing is my wife couldn't go in, but all the kids that were in there
No socks.
No socks. But
Don't like that.
But grown-ups, you better put your socks on.
There was a guy that probably just didn't cut his toenails for like 5 years that just ruined it for the rest of us.
I'm not a big small talk. There's one thing forcing small talk drives me crazy. Like, the weather outside, it's sunny and whatnot. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. Like a lot of parents coming up going, so you meant well. He's like,
weather's good.
He's all Landon's first time, huh? And I'm like, how did you remember his name? Like, I literally said it once. I'm like, you're observant or a genius.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. I didn't know his kid's name. There's no way. No way.
Probably still wouldn't have remembered.
But yeah, little Jim.
Well, I got a comment. I got a comment about socks here in a minute, but I did want to tell you guys, if you guys want to get a box at a discount, Mojobreakshop.com has all your wax, whether it be Pokemon, whether it be basketball, brand new Top Series 1, any of the new releases, the X-Men that's coming out as well. And we've got a $25 off any $100 purchase or more. So you want to hang right on that $100 price point. That's 25% off. Use code HYPETIME25. and save $25 on any purchase over $100. And it's limited time, so use it now because I think there's only like 20 to 30 coupons in existence. So go ahead and go over there while you're listening and grab yourself a box. But what I was going to say was my nightmare is not having the right. Like I always like, you go to the airport, you're going to have to take your shoes off. Make sure I'm wearing the same socks. I seem to buy socks constantly, and then they disappear. Either the dryer eats them or whatnot. So a lot of times it's just like in the morning.
Or whatnot.
Which is coming up next. Nice little segue there.
Perfect.
But I have to go into the laundry room and the laundry bin and just find two similar socks usually. But if I know I'm going to have to show the socks, then you got to make it a point to wear matching socks. So you don't want to be that guy with one black sock, one white sock.
Yeah, as long as it's the same color and you're wearing a long pant. If they don't see the shin, where it's like it has the Nike logo on one and a Reebok logo on another, but they're the same color, you're good.
I make a point before I leave, no matter, because you never know. You never know when you're going to have to take your shoes off. You don't, and believe me,
in today's world?
Yeah, you just don't know.
In this economy?
So I make sure, like I would never leave my house with a white sock and a black sock.
I've done it.
That's crazy. Like, what are you going to do if you go to somebody's house that day and they're like, "Oh, we just got my carpets cleaned. Take your shoes
I've been
off."
there. Yeah, it's a lot of anxiety.
You're going to walk in, you have one black sock, one white sock. Are you just going to be like, what's the story behind that? Are you going to be like, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it was pitch black, and I just guessed.
Or better yet, you have a hole in one. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Then you got a hole in the sock, and then you look like a psycho. They put you in the corner, or you just kind of try to cover up your sock with your other sock.
Look, I don't know. Sometimes you're like, look, laundry day is today, and I only had like the spare socks.
Is it
lying around in the closet.
Knowing that you have mismatched socks? Is it even crazier to be like, I'm going commando and taking my socks off? No socks.
Ooh.
Yeah, you probably have to. But then
bold.
Then if you got the long toenail, then it's a little weird. So there's a lot of factors into that.
There's some people who are blessed with the gift of not having, especially during summertime, where I see the people, it's no stinky feet, no stank feet. That's not me. So you got to have the socks.
How do you know that?
Well, don't want to get into it.
There's a very distinct smell.
All I know is it's not good, and it's not. And you make the white's not happy about it. No one's happy about it.
Yeah.
You walk into the room and everybody knows you're there. It's not a good feeling. No.
Yeah. You don't want to have those cheesy toes. That's for sure.
Don't get the Cheeto toes.
It's another segue coming up. But whatnots. Let's get into whatnots, guys. We've been talking about these streaming platforms for the last couple of weeks on this show. And apparently today, or it was a message that was sent out to a couple customers, that there's no longer going to be video replays accessible to the public of breakers on their platform. Now, if you make a purchase with said breaker, you can watch a replay. But if you're a casual and you just want to watch it or you don't want to log in, apparently videos are not available anymore. This has caused the industry, Twitter, X, to go absolutely crazy on the heels of the backyard scenario. So only one.
The Pokemon scenario.
The Pokemon scenario.
I flipped out and crumpled up the.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah,
there's been a lot.
We
going on.
didn't get to cover that last week, but yeah.
Not a lot of positive coming out of the Whatnot camp. Not a lot of positivity.
Well, the positive is that they're valued at $5 billion.
I guess that's a positive. If you want to do a spin on it, I guess that's a positive.
They like making money. They don't like having everybody watch videos, though.
They obviously don't really care about their customers having to be very confused with how to navigate and watch breaks after performed on their platform.
Or they're just like, you know what? You either be here or you're a square. You can't watch it unless you're here. You got that FOMO. You got to be on the app to watch it.
Now, I had to do some market research. So you do get a video receipt for the break that you purchased.
Did they email that to you?
No, I was in my profile.
Okay.
So you basically, look, I had to go through. I had to mess around on the app a little bit. I did find it. I guess it prevents people from going to their platform just to troll.
Could that be the angle?
I don't know. I wasn't in the boardroom. I don't have a seat. I don't know what the thought process is. I think it's a pretty dramatic way to go about it. There's a lot of things that you and I talked about. Could it be a music copyright trademark infringement? Could the record labels being like, hey, you can't use our music? Could that be it?
Because essentially every play or replay of a video could.
I also feel that if that's the case, I think going to your streamers and being like, you can't use licensed music going forward is a better fix than basically saying, like, consumers who are not purchasing from this platform could not watch replays.
I don't know. They actually might have been. They might be afraid of like losing sellers. Because those guys. They're just pounding Red Bulls, probably taking some Adderall, and they're bumping their head to Drake. They're going Kendrick Lamar. They got it going on. They got the latest mumble rapper. They got it in the background. Maybe they feel like they won't be able to sell unless they have the music on.
Well,
in the background.
I mean, what do you think is the reason? Is it we don't want to have, if anything bad happens, we don't want to have a paper trail that opens it up to everybody?
I honestly think, and I think it's just bad timing on their part with the backyard stuff. I honestly think it's a cost savings. I think by having only 30 to 40 people be able to view such video, you can decrease your data servers. Maybe they were at full capacity. Maybe they were noticing there was a slowdown on their app. Maybe they're having some crashing issues. I honestly think that's the main reason why they're doing it. If I had to think of it from like an outsider that had no skin in the game, obviously it's easy to point that, oh, what happened with Backyard? That's why it seems like they're doing it. Yeah, it makes sense, but I think it's more of a financial thing. Also, if you play into the music thing, if they are trying to IPO, which maybe they are at some point, they've gotten 6 series of funding. Those guys probably want to start seeing some return on their investment somehow. So they're going to publicly IPO at some point. They're going to make their stock available. And maybe they juice the views for said breakers. And when you juice the views, then now you have music copyright issues, because then you could say, like, that Dr. Dre song was played 500,000 views that night. So that is the equivalent of 500,000 streams. And artists could be like,
give me my 50 grand.
Correct. Yeah. So maybe that's all into play. Don't know.
It wouldn't be the artist as much as it would be the label.
Correct.
I think the label's like, give me my money.
No, you don't think Snoop Dogg's he's just searching live streaming platforms?
I think Snoop Dogg is like, I want my label to go get me my money so I can get a piece of it.
Right.
But no, I don't think he is. I don't think he's on Whatnot trying to figure out what people's playlist is.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think it's like something nefarious for the story of this all, but I think it's honestly some kind of budget-cutting savings, speed savings for their platform, to not have that video available to 1 million users or however many they have. It's only available to 60.
But you think it's cool that they roll out this program without telling anybody?
I absolutely don't think so. Because I think it's a terrible way of going about it. It seems like
the way of doing business for Whatnot right now is like, we're going to implement changes, and that's it. Like, you're just going to find out on your own.
That's the thing that's sticking out to me is like, even if it's all true that like this is just a bizarre time, like really bad timing of like you just had one of your most public controversies with one of your biggest sellers on the app, and then a few weeks later you take away our ability to watch past streams where who knows, we don't know, we could have dug even deeper, and like maybe that was happening where people were digging deeper. But I do tend to think it's less about that, but at the same time there might be some truth to
or are they aware of other stuff
that
is out there, and they're like, let's just get rid of it all. Let's scrub it all and get rid of everything.
I think there could be some truth to like they're trying to cover up their tracks, but also that maybe what happened here with Grant and the backyard stuff did lead them to like it opened something up where it's like, well, we do have this huge backlog of replays right now, and we do need to really clean things up, and it almost is like it led to this where maybe it's not the sole reason it happened, but it was something where they're like, well, we really should address this at some point.
I feel if it was...
Which is still not good.
I feel like if it was a server issue and they were trying to save on data, they would be like, all right, we're rolling out this new program. Breaks are only going to be archived, or streams are only going to be archived for 10 days.
Right.
And then they're going to basically record over themselves. That would basically, if it is about data storage and it's about price and making sure their overall cost goes down, that is a way of doing it without basically scrubbing all archive videos on the site.
But we also are hearing from a third party from email interactions with Whatnot that this is what's happening. Once again, Whatnot has not put anything on X since January 19th. There's not been a single post. So not even like, hey, check us out. Like, we're doing singles tonight, or Poleaxe is doing like, some buybacks tonight. Join it. There literally, it seems like that with the backyard stuff, they told their whole marketing team to go like take a couple months off and like not do anything.
Yeah. It's hard
so
not
weird.
It's hard not to connect the dots. If you got a big conspiracy theory thumbtack board, it's hard not to connect it all back to what happened with the backyard stuff.
I'm done. I'm tired of talking about Whatnot.
It is exhausting.
I want them. Could they just go like business as usual and just do what they got to do and just.
Whether this is something where they're like, well, this is something we needed to do anyway, and this kind of like was the thing that spurred that, or it's this grand cover up, or whatever it might be. The fact that you said it, that they're not posting anything, they're not being transparent about anything. Just say something on social media. Hey, we're about to do this thing. The fact that they're not saying anything publicly, one, gets everybody's brain going like, what could it be? And two, is almost an admission that they are trying to slide this under without anybody noticing.
Which is strange, because if you look at, I'm not going to try to compare Whatnot to Apple, but like anytime Apple does any kind of update or fix, there's a log of what's going to happen, what's going to do to your phone. Like, notes are going to change. This is how, like,
and maybe it was on the update. Who knows? We just didn't catch it, because again, I'm not reading that.
But wouldn't you put it publicly just to let people know?
It's a big enough change that you would think
you shouldn't.
It shouldn't be a public thing.
What the new processes that you're running out as a business should not be communicated from users of your business, and that's basically what's happening. Yep. It's like the users on Whatnot are the ones that are going out to the public and saying, these are the changes that Whatnot's doing.
Is there, this is something that Doug and I were kind of talking off air, and I starting to, because I was looking at just their other things that are going on Whatnot, because there's more. Sports cards is number one.
Oh, I know.
There's the most. It's the most channels.
They got vinyl.
Right. They got vinyl. They got toys. They have antiques.
Coins,
they have
shoes,
arts and crafts. They have sneakers.
Clothes.
Sneakers is huge there. Clothes. I think the biggest stream I saw was for like Disney Funko toys. No, it was or like video games and stuff. It had like 800 viewers on it. It wasn't even a sports card related one today. So again, most of the channels are doing sports cards TCG, But is there a calculation by Whatnot right now where they're like, look, we're going to lose guys. We're going to lose some people from the sports card world and from the TCG world who just don't trust us, but we have this category where we're still doing gangbusters. They're not affiliate. There's no connection with them to this world at all. And again, our funding is not stopping. Like our value is still $5 billion, so we must be doing something right. So who cares if we
hypothetically, what if, because again, you bring up the like apparel, shoes. I think they do like handbags and all that stuff. Well, what if they found out that some of that stuff that was being sold was fake and counterfeits?
Which is such a huge problem in those orders.
Exactly, right? Well, you can't have, if you know that, you can't have that archive footage in there if you know that some of that stuff that's being sold
I wonder
is
if
fake.
they have access to whatever video for whatever amount of time, if they wanted it for a court case.
I would hope so.
You would hope so, right? I mean, that would be...
Because if they get subpoenaed and they're like, we want this data, and they're like, you know how it is.
But, I mean, we can sit here and talk about
these
it.
servers are expensive these days.
We can sit here and talk about it. You know, like a lot of people on Twitter voice their opinion of disapproving of this situation. The only way to truly, if you're really unhappy with it, don't use it. Don't buy on there. That's the only way it's going to stop. Now, is there enough people to do that? Probably not. So, like, Whatnot doesn't care. Medina breaks on X. As a seller on Whatnot, very disappointed they have removed the features of video replays. Many customers will not feel comfortable buying into breaks if they cannot watch back replays. Now, we've confirmed that you can buy into a break and watch a replay if you're a purchaser. We've confirmed that, right? Where this does get a little tricky is you just bought into a buyback, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's people that are doing buybacks every day, right? And they're saying that there's an $8,000 card in the run. You're not able to do any due diligence to see if that card was pulled.
Unless I buy into every single break.
Correct. So think about that, actually.
Yeah.
Think about that. I didn't even think about the fact that these repackers are promising certain values of hits.
And there's no way to go back in
catalog if they've hit
catalog it. And yeah, absolutely.
So don't know if that's the intention either, but I kind of just talked myself through that. So a lot of disapproval on that. I mean, Fanatics Live did not take the opportunity. They didn't miss the opportunity to do some marketing. They came out and they were like, if you want to relive your favorite moment from a stream or if you've missed out on a break, Fanatics Live offers the replay features, which allows customers to rewatch streams.
There was
collectors to rewatch streams.
Loop also took advantage of the softball and did basically what they should do. Like, tell customers, are you unhappy with what this platform is doing? Well, come over here. We do it completely the opposite. Yeah. So, I mean, good for Fanatics Live, good for Loop. I just think at the end of the day, you have to like put your consumer cap on and be like, what makes most sense for the consumer? Because it looks like what they're doing is what makes the most sense for us as a platform, what makes the most sense for our sellers. And they're going the opposite of eBay, where eBay was like really looks out for the buyer, the consumer.
Yeah, and eBay Live, even though it's a S show, I believe I could still go watch. We haven't been on there in like over a year. Like we could still watch the replay. So
people can probably still buy from that stream.
Probably.
Yeah, so there's a lot of
still buy that box from 2000.
You guys want some Upper Deck Space Jam? I know it's fun.
I mean, we couldn't sell it on there because other reasons.
Yeah, and I mean, our YouTube videos go all the way back to 2010. So I mean, if you're buying into Mojobreak.com or you're buying with us on Fanatics Live, there's replays. And I would probably, if I was a Whatnot lifer and I was breaking on Whatnot, I would take this opportunity to find a way to put your videos on your own platform, or you're on YouTube, I should say. So maybe dual stream it and find out a way to get it over to YouTube.
That is
so that you can archive the videos yourself.
That's a great point. That it's kind of like Whatnot really shooting themselves in the foot of like, you have just given you're like guys who have a big following or whatnot, who are like, I really want to give you guys replays. You have just given them an opportunity to just shift everything that they do over to YouTube, and you are getting nothing from it. So that's going to happen. There's going to be a few people who are like, I have a big enough following now where I can just go jump over on a different platform. I don't need whatnot anymore.
Right.
It's going to happen.
I don't know. I don't know. I also, it's funny that you brought up the repack, because I would say 70 to 80% of sports card transactions that go on whatnot are probably from repacks, right? Well, if I'm a consumer looking to get into a repack, I can't even watch archived videos of what the repack could potentially have. Right. It doesn't even, unless I find them live at that moment, I can't even go back and go, oh, maybe I want to get into this series. Maybe I do want to chase these certain like cases that they have in there. Well, I want to go look at the previous cases to see what I can expect out of it. Well, too bad. If you didn't buy into it, too bad.
Like I said, like when they say, there's an $8,000, they're selling teams for $200, but there's an $8,000 card in this run. Well, was it hit yet? Is it going to be in the run?
Not archiving the videos definitely has to damage the consumer confidence going forward on whatnot. Granted, I know there's been
I guess you say archiving the videos for anybody.
Anybody.
It is archived for 60 days for the purchaser.
Archiving videos for everybody. Everybody. Not just the people who buy, but for everybody.
Yes.
It kind of damages the consumer confidence, I would say, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But we'll get it the ice cream truck at the National, get some free ice cream from whatnot, right?
This is the thing that
I didn't get any free ice cream.
Well, they were offering it. I didn't get it either, but
I think there's a sign. Yeah. It was like free ice cream for everybody except for Dan and Doug at Mojobreak. I don't like. Yeah, I was like,
you guys might have missed that part.
I don't think it was low carb anyway, so I think I'm out.
Yeah, I was like, I do dairy free, so I'm like, is it dairy free? They're like, no.
No, yeah. The most frustrating part about all of this is like you just said it, like it still just kind of feels like they're just gonna go about their business as usual. Like they're still, despite everybody being like, oh, we do like they're the number one among live e-commerce with as many categories as they have, and it just. I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's a move of just like prove us wrong.
We'll see how
prove us wrong.
We'll see how consumers react to it.
Exactly. And that's where they're at right now. They're in a stage where they have their valuation so high. Their business is so good where they're kind of like we're going to do something.
Buy it or don't. Right, your choice.
Right. We're so popular. Yeah. Where are you going to go? Somewhere else? That's what they're trying to tell everybody. And so go somewhere else. Prove it.
Well, let's talk about the blood clot heard around the world. Try to say bomba clot, but blood clot heard around the world. Victor Wembanyama shut down, and people's PCs are possibly suffering because of it. If you're a Victor Wembanyama collector and you felt some tears last week, we'll talk about it. Should you sell? Should you be buying? It's a good opportunity. Few recent sales say that his market's not slowing down because there was a Nebula 101 Prism that sold on Golden. $860,000 this weekend after the news. So
biggest Wemby sale so far.
So it outsold the black.
But a lot of those bids probably came in before the news.
Yeah. Now
I'm curious to see still it went for $860,000. That's a lot of money. It's a hold. It's a hold.
And the LeBron.
All right, we're not playing that game.
It's a hold.
It's a hold.
It's a definite hold. I don't think it's ever been more of a hold than that card.
That card, yeah. We're going to stare at it for a while. $168,000 on the Wembanyama LeBron James Superfractor out of Mercury.
I think we were thinking we were buyers at 18,000.
Yeah. I think I dropped a bid.
Did we? Yeah. Did we say it was? I got to go back to the.
We did.
Got to go back to the tape. Did we say it was going to go over 100?
I think we all were like that card should go over $100,000.
Okay. I think I might have been really small. I think I might have gone on way under on that one, but. All right, there you go. So
when we were talking about like Mercury before it came out, I would have said that card's probably
$500,000.
$500,000.
$500,000.
300,000.
That's definitely what we were saying with that one. Saying it's going to be one of the biggest cards. Wemby's biggest card.
Don't know how
that.
that card gets hit out of that product, and just nobody hears about it.
No video.
There's
nothing.
videos everywhere of every single card ever being pulled,
Silence.
except for that one.
Yeah.
A card that is, again, how the 90% of it
I just want to know. I just want to know how many people were buying Mercury boxes and ripping them with nobody around and not filming anything in a time where everybody films everything.
Yeah.
That's just it's crazy.
And even if you didn't film it, you wouldn't throw it up on social just to see if you had anybody that might want to buy it.
But you're also telling me, even if you're not a big social media person, you're like, you have a phone probably. You have a phone that has you have a phone. You're like, you're basically going to be like, hey, I'm going to open up this box. Can you hold this phone real quick? Just record my box.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe the collector's like, he's like a retro guy. Like he just does 80s technology. Like, so he just has like the Zach Morris phone and, you know what I mean? He watches VHS tapes and stuff like that.
Fires up the Atari.
Yeah. So
I get
no
it.
way.
But able to get it to Golden.
Yeah, he just called up the rotary phone. He had the rotary phone on the wall,
Yep.
and he dialed the number.
Found the local payphone in his hometown.
Maybe Golden just got vibes. Maybe he just like literally was like, oh, I
No,
feel
it didn't
like
go to Golden. It went to Fanatics.
Oh, went to Fanatics Collect. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
he delivered-
Fanatics Collect just they have that vibe where they're just like, ooh,
Delivered on a stagecoach. Also.
ooh, I'm getting a vibe. I'm getting a vibe that like that LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama was just pulled. We're gonna go to that person's house, just knock on the door and be like,
Publishers here at Clearinghouse.
yeah, we're here. We're here to collect.
Yeah.
Who's the guy on Publishers Clearinghouse?
Ed McMahon.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Star Search.
late great.
Yes. That's what
Also, he was on Johnny Carson, right?
he was Johnny
he was
Carson's
like,
sidekick. Yeah. That was his big thing.
do
He would just laugh, right? Yeah.
Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah.
do
It's a good laugh.
not a lot of late shows have sidekicks.
The late show. Let's see. Well, one, I'm not watching.
Like
much late shows
Leno didn't
anymore.
have a sidekick.
Leno didn't really have a sidekick.
Letterman didn't have a sidekick.
Paul Schaefer's
Paul
basically a
yeah.
sidekick. But not.
But he was
And who
not
had
the
who had the
classic
Max, the
That's
drummer
like-
guy?
That's like
that was
saying,
Conan. And he had Andy Richter for years.
That's like saying Questlove is the sidekick.
Right.
For-
You,
right.
you can't.
He used to have the announcer on Jimmy Fallon, and I don't think he's there anymore. But he was sort of the sidekick. Did anyone want to watch Craig Ferguson? That was one of my favorites. He
The
had a-
Irish guy, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
loved him. He had a robot. It was voiced by like a live voice actor there, but that was his sidekick. Was a talking robot. It's great. It's
Nice.
a good show.
And Ed McMahon's claim to fame
Was Johnny Carson's
was
sidekick?
was it?
Pretty sure. I don't think he
He
did
just
much
showed
else.
up one day and he's all, Johnny, you need a sidekick.
Well,
I'm going to be that
Star
guy.
Search.
Let's see. Oh,
But
yeah,
I
that's right.
think-
He was the host of Star Search,
but I
of
think-
course. But because of Johnny Carson, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think Carson was before Star Search.
Yes.
Okay, so he was on a show. Okay, him and Johnny Carson were game show hosts at some point together.
Johnny Carson was a game show host?
Who do you trust? Yeah, there
Okay.
you go. Anyway, that's what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, he was the sidekick
You know-
and the announcer.
You know who
of
wants
the show?
You know
That's
who
what it
wants to be a millionaire came back?
It's been, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Has it
they've had
been?
several different revivals of it with different
it's
hosts.
with
Who's hosting it now?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh yeah. They did like a newer one where it was like celebrities and stuff.
I was like, oh,
Yeah, but they were on like syndication for a while.
Didn't they have Blossom on there too? Malian Bialik hosted. For a little bit?
Yeah, I think she was doing Jeopardy.
She
for
did
a
Jeopardy.
minute. Yeah, she was.
I think she did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as well for a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. Anyway,
But yeah, this
Ed McMahon.
Wembanyama stuff. I mean, I think if you're holding on to any like Finest or Cosmic Chrome or thankfully Midnight has a pretty big autograph checklist where I mean Wembanyama's not going to be not worth anything, but like it's one of those things that you're going to have to wait now till next year. I mean, they say he's going to be 100%. This isn't just a freak thing. It just sucks for Wembanyama collectors too because I was watching the Court of Gold and they did a whole thing with him and Tony Parker and the France team on how they've gotten so good and how this guy's like they're passing the torch to him and going to probably win the Defensive Player of the Year this year, but now he's not going to qualify because he didn't play enough games. So if he would
was
have got to
averaging-
65 games this year, he would have been able to qualify for it.
I mean, he was averaging just a shade under 25 points, 11 boards. I mean, he was having
Yeah.
a phenomenal year.
I think from our industry standpoint and the collectors out there, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. He's going to come in next year. He's going to basically come back exactly the way he
Hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
People are throwing around the Chris Bosh thing,
No,
which I think we need to keep in mind. Chris Bosh was 1 later in his career, and 2 that was in his lungs.
his lungs.
That is life threatening.
Yeah.
There's a reason that's a little different. I hope he comes back 100%. It would be a real shame because there was a lot of days where it's like, man, he's the one. I think I said the day of, I'm like, you know what? It's a blood clot. That's scary. I don't want to take anything away from that. That is a scary thing to have. But for a guy his size, the moment I heard out for the year, I went, oh no, something with his knees. He did something to his knee, didn't he? He did something to his leg. Nope, nothing lower body. In a weird way, that kind of like set my mind at ease. Like, okay, it's not the things we'd expect for the guy.
He's really young.
I
I think everything's going to be fine.
And maybe, I mean, you know, these guys. I'm assuming last year he played the Vegas League, right? Because he was doing that, and then he played the full season. Then he had the Olympics.
Yeah.
So maybe there was just a lot of traction this year that was too much for his body to handle, and this freak thing happened. But I mean, Stephon Castle seems like he's becoming, a kind of a superstar or on the path to be a superstar. They just got De'Aaron Fox, so it might be a good time when basketball is at its lowest, like after the finals. It starts hunting for some Wembanyama right after that to get him on a discount to get ready for next year.
Watch them get like the number 1 pick again in the draft lottery and end up with Cooper Flagg on top of all of this. Now that they can take a little bit more,
but they were competitive.
They were competitive. They're not gonna. I mean, even if he was healthy, they probably would not have been a playoff team. Maybe a play-in.
But they got De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And they haven't. They're what, 5 games with him, maybe?
Yeah,
with
not that
Wembanyama?
many. Yeah, there wasn't that much. So I think in their wildest dreams, they're like, we're gonna be a 10th or 9th seed this year, and then we build off that. And next year, it's.
Well, I hope they don't tank. Like if they tank to get the first overall pick, like the system is flawed.
Yeah, well, that's why they got the lottery. So.
I mean, the thing that is hard when you are a basketball collector, though, is historically, big men don't sell. Historically. Now, I know this guy is a freak of nature. He's unlike anybody we've ever seen with his ability to shoot, the ability to play defense, how tall he is. But, I mean, you talk to guys in, like, 92 that were all in on Shaq. I mean, what could Shaq have done in his career that he didn't do? Like,
shoot free throws?
Well, but the guy won how many titles? 4 titles. I mean, he did what you wanted, expected if you bought him in 92. Granted, there wasn't superfractors or prisms or any of that back then. There was just, mass-printed cards. But Shaq's market's not that huge. You look to the guys that have big markets, Kobe, LeBron, MJ, Anthony Edwards, stuff like that. Those guys, it's because collectors, especially international collectors, they want to be able to emulate that. They want to be able to do step back 3. They can do that because they're normal height. To be able to play and do the things that Wembanyama does, you have to be the height of Wembanyama. So that's always my thing is like, will these big men last and sell well for a long period of time?
I think the exciting thing about Wembanyama and why he was selling so well is the fact that, like, he isn't just like a complete dud beyond the 3-point line. Like, he actually can shoot from long distance.
He can shoot. He can dribble. He can drive. He obviously can play defense. He's built like he's obviously built like a center, but he can play like a guard.
Yep.
It's kind of what we talked about with Ben Simmons when he was coming up.
Yep.
Except Ben Simmons couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
Like as well as Wembanyama.
Yeah. And Wemby even a few inches taller than even Simmons. So yeah, it is. He is kind of like everything you hoped that Ben Simmons was, except even better. So
and then you harken back to like Yao Ming, foot injuries like you mentioned before.
Yep.
When you get that much of a big body, are they going to be able to play for 20 years? Are they going to be able to
with
compile?
Yao, it was the fact that Yao was like
heavier,
big, like he was like Shaq big.
Yeah.
Like when Shaq got into the league, he was just tall, strong, freak of nature. But like as his career went on, he got like bigger, bulked up. It felt like Yao Ming out of the gate was big.
Yep.
Like he was bulky.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight to put on your foot. And I think once he had like a broken foot, it was just like never gonna heal correctly.
Never heal correctly. Yeah. Well, we got some new releases this week. If you are still chasing Wembanyama, along with Curry Auto, LeBron Autos, Topps Midnight Basketball releases, 23-24. You got 3 hits, 3 autographs per box, plus I believe 3 to 4 other cards parallels. So it's a 7-card box, retailing around $300. You can get into breaks at Mojobreak.com. You can also get boxes at Mojobreakshop.com and use that code HYPETIME for $25 off. That's at Mojobreakshop.com. We also have the return of X-Men Finest, which is getting quite a buzz. I think non-sport products are really kind of picking up with Star Wars and with gaming and stuff like that. So X-Men, just another license for fanatics to have, and this is their first product coming out this week, which I believe there's only 1 refractor per box.
Yep.
So it's going to be a hefty chase to get some numbered stuff, and those should do well, especially who's Wolverine, right? Wolverine's probably the guy.
You got your Wolverine, you got your Cyclops, you got your Storm, Jean Grey, and it's all of the 97, or it's that new X-Men 97, which is a sequel to the animated series that came out last year. Actually was way better than I was expecting. I watched a few episodes, was like, wow, this is actually pretty great. It's really enjoyable. And that's sort of when you think of X-Men, I think that's the iconic design you think of, is that 90s animated series. I mean, yeah, it's exciting to be excited about it. I feel like I was thinking about this as we're, looking at, what are we, going to be promoting on social media and all that. Oh, cool, we're going to do some X-Men stuff. And I really thought about it, man, we haven't really gone that hard with Upper Deck and Marvel and stuff, but it was, of course, all those constraints with Marvel or Upper Deck products and stuff. So it was harder to promote that stuff of hey, come in this,
I also feel this is one of the quickest turnarounds for manufacturers.
Is that too?
Having a license and then another manufacturer already producing a product. I mean, the last Marvel product that Upper Deck had couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 months ago.
No.
It wasn't that long ago, yeah.
So,
and this is, again, I know people are going to say, Topps Chrome Marvel, but that was a UK product, I want to say.
I'm talking about stuff that's
Which is, now this is the first US one. Yeah.
Mass-produced and going to be...
these guys knew they had a license 7-8 months ago, so they started working on it. They just couldn't sell it until the clock struck midnight.
Went to the printing facility, got it out quick.
Yeah.
I mean... All right.
Yeah, which, by the way, I was looking also, Upper Deck's first DC product is supposed to come out in a couple of weeks as well. So that'll be, if you're still looking for the PNGs, still looking for that, it's going to be DC Comics, not Marvel Comics. Batman. Superman. Wonder Woman.
Now, there's also a character in X-Men named Mojo that I saw on the checklist.
Who? God, I'm trying to remember. I got to look up Mojo from X-Men. I don't,
because there's a Mojo Masters. I'm like, I might have to get one.
Silver Surfer? Is that DC? Is that?
Oh yeah. Ooh, that's not the most attractive character, but yeah, I do remember this character.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, in a big robotic spider legs, but is kind of Jabba the Hutt like.
Maybe I won't be buying that one.
Yeah. It's not the most.
Is that not a stereotypical collector view?
No.
Man. Sorry. And it's named Mojo on top of that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Gotta change the name.
Yeah. I was going to show a
Dojo
picture.
Breaks now.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You know what? Let's show. I want to show the folks at home. This is.
So
there's Mojo.
97 has to do with a.
There's Mojo right there.
It doesn't have anything to do with 1997.
It picks up in 1997 when the original show ended. So the show ends, and then that's why it's called X-Men 97. It picks up right where it left off.
Okay.
So going after that nostalgia.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's totally, going after the nostalgia. And it's just cool to have. I don't even know when Upper Deck was doing this. Obviously, they had X-Men designs, but an animated series specific X-Men stuff, which that is, I think, even if you didn't even grow up maybe reading some of the X-Men comics, like you grew up watching the show, like it was on all the time. If you're a 90s, 80s, 90s kid, like
Wasn't
this
there
was
like
a big one.
Wasn't there a video game like Street Fighter versus X-Men?
Oh,
that was a great
Street
one.
Fighter versus X-Men. There
Yeah.
was Marvel versus Capcom
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So all those were
Those are
in
great.
there. And those were all really pulling from these designs as well.
Sick.
Yeah. So the cards look great. I'm excited.
So it looks like some LeBron. There's actually been a lot of movement in the market. I was going to say I've been looking at singles, and singles have been going for a lot higher than like last year. So I don't know. People got tax returns, or they got to claim some losses this year. I don't know, but there's a lot of big sales. There was a 8.5 exquisite RPA of LeBron that just sold for $1.2 million. There's a LeBron MJ number to 23 exquisite dual auto.
The 23.
Yep, it sold for $492,000, a record for a dual signature. So a lot of records, like recently, early in the year here, like that Wembanyama going for $860,000. There was like a Kobe out of like EX number to 8 that sold for like $900,000. Been a lot of money like in singles going around like recently. I've been also trying to buy some Bowman draft stuff. I couldn't believe it. Some of these prices on some of these Bowman draft guys, like Roman Anthony. Oh my God, dude.
Red Sox.
Number one
guy.
prospect right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's being priced at like Ronald Acuna numbers already. Like it's crazy. Just trying to buy like a blue auto. I think it went for like $2,000. I was out. I was like not trying to buy it at that price.
What year is he in draft?
I think 2024.
I don't.
No, because he's been
No,
he's been in the system for a couple years at least.
2023.
2023 Bowman draft.
Yes. I believe it was Bowman draft.
Yeah, the window on these guys is a lot shorter.
It's a lot. Oh yeah, you
Way shorter now.
You used to have to get like Bowman draft. You'd get an auto, and you're like, I gotta wait like 4 years. Now it's like you almost know within a year if this is gonna be a guy who's gonna take off.
Yep. So also currently sitting at $6,750
I'm the high bid.
on Golden is the Charizard
Nope.
Cheeto. Charizard Flaming Hot Cheeto.
Cheetozard.
Custom card, right?
Has to be.
Yep. Custom.
Custom card.
Yep. There we go.
I mean, I looked at it, and it looks a lot like Charizard.
It does.
I will say that.
We're not sponsored,
But
there you go.
Could somebody did they mold it to look that way? Did they take a little
Apparently
off
it
here,
was-
a little off there?
Look, they say it was bag pulled
Pack pulled.
out of a bag of Cheetos.
Flaming hot Cheetos, not
yeah.
just any Cheetos.
That's right. I let's see if I can.
It
recreate
looks like
No,
4 Cheetos together.
can't recreate it. I didn't recreate
Is there
it.
any? There's no like story on this card besides the fact that Golden says they had a real cheesy video on it, but they were like
It was funny.
It was discovered between 2018 and 2022. That's a 4-year window. So
That's a crazy window. Like,
Okay,
like, you can't pin
the
down
other-
a year.
The other thing is, look, you're eating a bag of Cheetos, right? You're diving into it. No one's looking at each singular Cheeto
I am now.
before you eat it. You're
I
like,
am
are
now.
you going to be like, that looks like whatever?
Well,
looks like Logan Paul.
like, well, this one kind of looks like Blastoise. This one kind of looks like Mickey Mouse. You got to be diligent.
How much is that going for?
Currently sitting at $6,750.
You buy her?
$6,000.
There's only one like it.
$750 for Cheetos.
And no,
Insane.
not just
For a
one.
Cheeto.
A singular Cheeto.
One Cheeto.
Got to be stale at this point too, right?
It's definitely stale. It looks like it's even like put like they encase it in some resin, possibly. It's what from one of the shots I looked at.
It looks like it's shadow boxed.
Yes, you got a little shadow box. So this is from Collect. They have a story about this. So apparently, it was purchased on eBay in 2019 or 2020 for about $350 already. A little more than I would have paid for a Cheeto, just a little bit. They were on the store. The store was told that the seller was on a road trip with an older brother who pulled the Cheeto out of a bag and traded it for Power Ranger toys. I mean, who? Okay, we just have to take them at their word. It's bounced around. In April 2024, the store that bought the Cheeto posted a photo of it. They were in search of a grading company that would take it in. BGS said no. Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? How do you grade that? What do you do? Authenticate it? Yeah, that looks like a Cheeto to me.
Somebody could have made it, right? I mean, we're not.
They could have been.
I'm saying, like,
That's the other thing.
Okay.
Arena Club posted in November 24 that it had acquired what we believe to be the rarest Charizard in all of existence, and there it was.
So
Cheetozard.
Arena Club they slabbed it up?
No, it's not slabbed. It's in a custom case. It's like a
It's in
custom
its own-
case.
Oh, it looks
custom
like a
case.
snap case.
More from the story. There is, though out of the ordinary, it is an unprecedented to see food shaped like people or characters that sell for big money. As they say, Cheeto in the shape of a seahorse sold for $179 in 2024. Doritos Australia paid a teenager $14,663 in 2021 for a, quote, unique puffed chip after eBay delisted her auction for violating its food policy. And then also a Cheeto shaped like the viral gorilla Harambe was bidded up to $99,000 and, of course, never paid for. So there you go.
Oh, man.
Food.
Okay.
Yeah, so check your
I'm
bags.
hungry.
Check your Lays. Check your Cheetos. Whatever. There is, though, this weird, this just kind of popped in my head. Like there's this weird new thing of like collectible food. Like, have you seen the Oreos? Is the big thing that pops in my head.
This is like Post Malone.
There's the
Oreos.
Post Malone one. There was a Star Wars one where it's like the red or the blue, or there's like a special Batman
I
edition.
remember back in the day we used to eat food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, when they have these collector's editions, are people just hanging on to these? Are people going to the store? Like, please, if anyone's watching, let us know in the comments or send us a message. I'm curious. Are people going to the store, grabbing a box, and being like, I have to keep this somewhere, and in 30 years, I'm going to sell my Post Malone Oreos and make, I don't know. Like, it's just strange to me, but it's happening.
Yeah, some of the other weird
Market.
things that have been sold on eBay. There was a grilled cheese sandwich that had the Virgin Mary on it that sold on
That's
eBay
classic.
for $28,000.
That's a classic one.
10 years ago.
Wow.
Yep, that was one. There was a $1,300 cornflake. Cornflake was spoke to people's faith, patriotism. Cornflake special. It was like a patriot shaped cornflake.
What?
William Shatner's kidney stone sold for $25,000.
All right. Well,
on
see,
eBay.
now that's at least
gross.
it's gross, but there's
That's
a
gross.
celebrity attached.
No, that's
It's disgusting,
it's not okay.
but it is a celebrity's kidney stone. There's at least some explanation to me that makes a little more sense.
How do you authenticate that?
You don't. You just, I don't know. How did someone get that?
And why would somebody go straight to William Shatner? Like, you don't.
Or it was the
only
guy.
try-
The guy that was in the hospital was like, "Hey, you want this, William?" He's like, "Nah, man. Do you mind if I take it?"
That's, I mean,
Boy,
one,
I've
gotta
never.
be violating, I don't know.
Never.
I'm just going to say violating HIPAA, but I don't know. Maybe.
I've been fortunate never to have to like pass a kidney stone. I've heard that they are pretty painful, so I don't know why anybody would want to keep it like as a souvenir. Like, oh, I want to be able to hold on to this because this is the time of my life where I was in the most excruciating pain, and I would like to just remember.
Yeah, how does someone get that? Like, I get like the Tiger Woods throwing the gum or something. I remember that was a big one. His used gum got sold for a big amount. But I don't. How do you get a kidney stone? How do you get a guy's kidney stone unless?
It has to be from the hospital.
Yeah, it has to
wherever
be.
he was.
It has to be.
Or you're waiting behind him at the urinal.
I was
and
going to
you're
say,
just
or
like,
it's
"Oh."
at a public restroom, and he goes, "Wait, you're William Shatner.
Oh,
wait,
then
that's
you're,
your kidney stone.
whoa. Then you're
Would you like my kidney stone?"
then you're in there with your hands fishing out, like you're fishing out a kidney stone in a urinal.
Yeah.
We can't be doing that. That's
William
not.
Shatner's urinal, though.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
$25,000. I mean, jeez.
Yeah.
Just have to touch a little bit of urine for $25,000. Dude. You're gonna wash that off. Doesn't stick with you forever.
Yeah.
It's not a little bit. It's all the urine.
Well, you go grab a napkin, right? Yeah.
Right.
Try not to. Yeah, you reduce your exposure.
Again, what if it was there before William Shatner was on the urine? What if it was just
It's just
just Frank?
It's
Frank
just
from
Frank's-
Frank from New Mexico. Just
Well, what did that
Frank's kidney stone.
what did that banana sell for? Like with tape on it, was like $6 million or
Yes,
something like
ended
that.
up going. Yeah, on Sotheby's, it ended up going for auction.
and wasn't that a banana that was just duct taped?
It was
to
duct taped to
plywood?
the wall in a I don't know the museum, but in a modern art museum, and it was just duct taped to the wall as an art piece.
And it,
How did that
it-
banana preserve so long?
The guy ate it. They bought it.
No, he didn't.
I mean, what else are you gonna do with the banana? You gotta eat it.
Yeah, it's gonna.
But gotta think it's way overripe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the proceeding of the
Right.
whole auction took. It had to have been weeks, right?
Yeah, at least at that point, you just throw that and make some.
That
banana
just tells
or
me that
something.
people need some kind of capital gains loss on their taxes,
Sell
so they
that
got to
banana.
spend $6 million on art
Then eat it.
to get more money back on your taxes. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not in that tax bracket, but I've heard stories.
You could have a really expensive and not filling dinner at all with some of this stuff. Eat one Cheeto, one banana, and you're like, that'll be $6,007,000, sir, for that meal that you just had.
What's the weirdest thing you guys have bought?
Ooh.
Besides the
I'll,
Charizard
I'll,
Cheeto?
I'll start because I think and maybe it's not weird, but I was in Monterey, and we were going at this, Cannery Row right by the ocean, right by the aquarium, and there was a little shop, and my daughter saw this baby shark that was in a bottle thing, and it was
Oh, like a preserved? Yeah. I know what you mean.
yeah. So we bought one of those, and then I'm like, hopefully this was humanely disposed of, not just like we're going to make these things and catch all these baby sharks. But we had it in the room, and it's just, in this vial of stuff, and it's a baby shark it's been, what do they put in there, like vinegar or something
Yeah,
to keep
they
it,
keep
keep it
preserved.
I will
preserved?
I will tell you that I did not buy it, but this was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I was at a pawn shop in Reno, and there was a baseball bat that literally had like 3-inch spikes that were like drilled into it. And it was like a baseball bat with spikes. It was like one of the most dangerous things. I mean, it was a flat out
Yeah,
weapon.
that's a weapon.
It was a weapon. And they were selling it. Like, it was out in the open. Like, you can just pick it up and just swing it around if you want. But, like, it was a different time. But that was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen that you can actually buy.
I remember having like some animal, like, I don't know what it was. Like, you go like, I think I might have gone on a trip to like the desert somewhere, and they sell skeletons and stuff of like a bull, of a bull's skull or something like that. But then, and there was one of like a little smaller animal. That's probably as weird as it gets. The only other weird, it's not weird, maybe dirty, is I would collect the confetti at the Giants parades when they won the
Yeah.
World Series. I would, after it was cleared up, I would grab a handful and stuff it in my pocket, and I collected all those. But I feel validated because I saw that. Did you see that story a few weeks ago of when the Eagles won the NFC Championship? That company that sold the snow, they then were selling the confetti from the Super Bowl for like $50. And I actually was like, if my team won, I would get that. Would it be a $50 confetti? But I
got some confetti from the Rams Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like it,
Yeah, that's
but-
not that weird.
But I didn't buy it. They just sent it to me from the season ticket holder thing.
A Super Bowl stadium confetti, a little cleaner, I think, than everyone's been stomping on, middle of the street in downtown confetti.
There was that show, I don't know if it's still running, but I watched a couple episodes of it. It's called The Oddities, and it's like a people that own a pawn shop, but they sell like dark stuff. Like Jonathan Davis from Korn was on the show. He was buying stuff. But I think there was like somebody's like lifelong fingernail clippings were on display there. Like just a jar of fingernail clippings.
It's gross.
Nope.
That I thought was a little weird.
It's a hard pass.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to.
There's not a price point on that kind of perks my
It's
interest.
priceless, yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to display it in your house and be like, that's just a random person's, all their fingernails for their life. For the rest of their life. But
I got to give them credit.
But we're it reminds me of a product that we've actually had for a long time. Well, not a long time, but 3 months in this hobby is a long time. But we received the Leaf Marilyn Monroe collection. We had a case of it, and it was sitting in the back with all of our inventory. And I was like, why? We haven't done anything with this product. Like, why is it sitting here? So I started like, hey, you guys, we got to break this. We got to figure out how to break this. And I think the guys are breaking it. You might be able to get your spots now at Mojobreak.com. But I was looking at the highest selling item out of that product, and it was her hair. It was a strand of Marilyn Monroe's hair.
That sounds right.
Now, I believe that Leaf is on the up and up. But how do you determine that that was actually her hair? Like, you find a clothes drawer that she had. Maybe she had a dresser, and you find a hair. Is it hers? It may fit the color, but did she have friends that were blonde? You're like, how do you actually know that that was on Marilyn Monroe's head?
Can you send it in for DNA forensics?
Yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah, you could. You could. She is one of the. Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I guess too in Hollywood, they got hairdressers on set and stuff. Like, it could have been someone was just kind of.
But when did she passed to the 70s,
60s,
late 60s.
So we're telling we're in the year 2025, and we've
been nearly 60 years.
We've
since
had
she
hair
passed.
just sitting around. Like,
yeah, that's a lot of hair for a long time. That is the thing. Like 60 years of we've had 60 years worth of hair clippings to share for Marilyn Monroe. Because I'm sure there were other things that you could buy her hair.
Wasn't there in Ginter? Wasn't there like Abraham Lincoln's beard?
Yes,
and I think George Washington's hair.
Yeah, those ones. How? How'd you get that?
I think what the story of the Abraham Lincoln was, that's why I referred back to the drawer. Somebody bought like his desk, like, his everyday desk, and they had found hair follicles in the drawers. Like I said, it could be anybody's hair at that point. But we're saying like, oh yeah, this was his hair because it was his drawer. I don't think they're DNA testing it. No. Like in this case, Leaf is authenticating it. They're not saying like we got DNA test on it. I mean, they go for like $3,000. They're like one-on-ones, and there's several of them. So there was several pieces of hair that went into this set. There was also I think the big chase is a cut auto book with her signature and a lipstick smudge, like from a napkin. Once again, how do we know?
Right.
It's from her. I mean,
that one I'm guessing because when she would sign, I'm sure she did. Like that was a pretty customary thing she would probably do. Like
this has been sitting around for,
but again,
60 years,
or acquired by somebody from their own collections, or that's probably most likely is somebody had a.
Do we think Marilyn Monroe needed a standalone product?
She's pretty iconic.
In the year 2025.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Than today.
That's the thing. In the year 1995, yeah, absolutely. I think you can still do it.
In 2025,
there's always a stat of like every year they release a list of the highest earning dead celebrities, and she is still pretty consistently.
Like, I mean, honestly,
5.
like what is Marilyn Monroe known for?
Just being the most beautiful American at the time.
I would say one of the first big sex symbols of American pop culture. But in terms of like movies, the 7 Year Itch, which is the iconic.
I think the connection with JFK.
JFK connection.
Like also
Joe DiMaggio. The Some Like It Hot, which was a classic comedy of the era. So. There's a few.
Was that the one where the guys dressed like girls?
Yes, it's the cross-dresser.
Lemon, right?
Comedy. Jack Lemmon. But
I've never seen a Marilyn Monroe movie.
She is definitely more. I think most people see her as she's just like a symbol of pop culture of the 50s and 60s.
I remember my dad in his room had a Marilyn Monroe thing. So like that to me, I think that's why.
There's the iconic photo of her walking over. It's like in a street.
Yeah, that's from the movie. Something like
is that from that movie?
Yeah, it blows up her dress.
Yeah.
All
right. I actually have a list here. So does Marilyn Monroe deserve her own product? Here are the highest paid dead celebrities of 2024. Number 1 is Michael Jackson. Number 2, Freddie Mercury. Number 3, Dr. Seuss. Number 4, Elvis. Number 5 is Rick Ocasek from the Cars. 6 is Prince. 7, Bob Marley. Charles Schultz is 8th, Matthew Perry 9th, John Lennon 10th. So Marilyn Monroe is not on this list of top 13. The last listed celebrity is Whitney Houston. Arnold Palmer, James Brown also on the list.
So maybe that licensing deal was a little cheaper to get nowadays.
Yeah, but
than
for
it
a
would've
long
been.
time, I remember too, like Kurt Cobain would be on that list of on there as well.
Matthew Perry, I guess, because Friends is syndicated.
Friends,
syndicated Friends.
Yeah, Friends syndication, merchandising. Like he probably was getting a huge cut of that, and now it's going to his estate.
A lot of those are like catalog royalties, like Michael Jackson and Prince.
The fact that most of those were musicians.
Yeah.
Is 100% because of that. But I'm a little surprised that Marilyn Monroe's not.
Arnold Palmer.
I think literally because
of the drink.
the
Of the
Arizona
drink?
iced tea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and now there is the alcoholic version.
hard.
There's
hard
a spiked Arnold Palmer
sparked
now.
Arnold
Yeah,
Palmer.
spiked Arnold Palmer now exists. There you go.
When did he pass?
A few years back.
Not a bad drink though.
2016. 2016.
2016.
Lemonade iced tea.
It's good.
It's a good mix.
It's a good drink.
It's a good drink.
It's classic. Can't go wrong with it. Yeah.
Before we let you go, I wonder. Just make sure there's no other breaking news. Just Mondays seem like to be the.
It's happening a lot. Yeah. Also, we didn't get to. We touched on it a little bit, but Adrian Wojnarowski also his selling all of his phones. It's not as weird as a Cheeto, granted.
I saw that.
But yeah, it's, auctioning his phones and all of his press passes. And then I think I saw one article. It might be unverified because I only saw it from one. I didn't see it on places like Sports Collectors Daily or Collect. That they had his draft pass, Victor Wembanyama's draft pass, which I don't even know what that means. Like his draft ticket, like for the actual event. Apparently, Woj has it. Don't know if that's 100% true. No, I need to verify that, but that would be a pretty big one if he actually did have that one. But kind of cool. Like I don't know if I'd want a Woj phone. They've been wiped, so I don't know how they have any way of knowing. Like
It's an iPhone, right?
Yeah, it's an iPhone.
Yeah, I want that.
But well, yes, obviously that's standing. But the whole like they've been wiped. Did he mark down like this is the phone that I broke the Kevin Durant or that I broke the whatever news on? I was saying Kevin Durant news. This is the phone I used. I don't know if there's any way of us knowing that, which kind of feels like it defeats the purpose.
Right. It's just a paperweight at that point.
Right. Like it's gonna make money, but like if you knew this is the phone I did this on, this is the phone I did that on, there's maybe a little more importance to it.
Looks like there was a private sale of a true gold base rookie card of Caitlin Clark, no auto, that sold for $80,000 for Caitlin Clark. So big numbers coming out of the WNBA Prism. I also Run Good Life put up a thing about breakers are selling WNBA Prism with all the defunct teams to make it to 16 spots, which I think is, maybe these guys don't know how to sell the product, but like you can't sell like Dawn Staley's team, like the Sting. They're not a team anymore. You can't sell them as a spot.
I don't think some of these breakers know that they're defunct teams.
That's what I'm thinking. But it'd be what I posted on there under his thing was like that'd be like us selling the Oilers for football, right? If you're a football fan, like we're gonna sell the Titans and the Oilers, right? So you get your Earl Campbell or whoever. A lot of tomfoolery. I know the price of WNBA Prism has been pretty high, but you got to just stick with the 12 active teams. You can't be selling the
We're gonna sell
Atlanta
the Sharks,
or whatever.
We're gonna sell the Golden State Seals,
Golden State Seals,
Coyotes,
Whalers.
The
Although
Whalers.
Whalers though,
they turned up
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg Jets, but
Which,
Atlanta Thrasher. No, Atlanta Thrashers.
Thrashers became the Jets.
The Jets.
The new Jets.
The new Jets.
Yeah.
There's no defunct baseball teams, is there?
The first
the
version of the Washington Senators.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's right.
The St. Louis Browns became the Orioles.
Seattle Pilots,
Seattle Pilots are a defunct team. No.
or did they become
The Mariners.
the Mariners?
No. They became the Brewers.
The Houston Colt 45s.
Became the Astros.
So yeah, there's
People
really
look it up.
the baseball seems to
Seattle
be
Pilots. I feel
Seattle Pilots might actually be.
I think they became somebody.
I want to say they became the Brewers. I could be wrong. They became the Brewers.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, we'll leave you guys at that. If you guys want to bid on that Cheetozard, head over to Golden. I know it's going to be as soon as you guys are done listening to this podcast, you guys are all going to go bid on that thing. But make sure you go to mojobreakshop.com and use that code HYPETIME25 for $25 off any box purchase over $100. So right now, I think Series 1's at 99 on there. So that might not qualify. But anything right at 100, get 25% off basically. So use that code, and we'll see you guys next week on The Hype. Peace.